episode of Pretty Suited Podcast. I am your host, Lauren A. And I know I've been gone a long time. I kind of been sort of on a hiatus since April. You know, it was a lot going on. I changed careers. I got a chance to visit some family. I've been dealing with, some health related issues. So, I really just wanted to take the time out to take care of myself, my mental, spiritual, and financial well-being, and then also really just becoming adapted to a new work environment. We all know that can be a little tricky, dealing with new people, new coworkers, dealing with new bosses, how that can be. So we just want to make sure that we become acclimated, scope the scene, see where you fit in, and, go from there. So I really just haven't been feeling that creative during this process, but the summer's here now. I'm feeling super rejuvenated. So here I am. A lot has happened in the past 3 months. And of course, we're not going to do a whole 3-month recap. That'll just be a bit much, right? But what we can do is just talk about the future, right? So Pretty Suited, if you're new here, this is a platform that I created to help others, who look like me, who, have similar experiences, or who even just don't, and, just wants to be a part of a positive community. So whether you are in your career, whether you're starting a career, whether you are well into your career, whether you're a boss, whether you're entry level, we're not just one particular thing. We're not a monolith. Women are not a monolith. We are from different cultures, we're from different regions, we listen to different kinds of music, and then we also have social media and pop culture and like what that means and how that affects us in our daily lives. We take into account our mental health, our spiritual health, we like a little ratchet here and there. So like really it's just a community of women just celebrating each other. If you're interested in joining this community, like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel, and then also follow me on Instagram at the Lauren A, and you can also follow the Pretty Suited podcast/blog page. So anyways, let's fast forward to what we're talking about today. I want to talk about your attitudes towards greatness. Your environment plays a large role in how great you can be. Although I know we hear cases and stories every now and then about, folks who made it out the mud and made it from terrible environments and was able to make it to the top. Well, that greatness was already instilled in them. That journey was already pre-written by, a higher power. You know what I'm saying? Those are outliers. Those are gifts. Those are, miracles, right? But I think that it takes a great understanding of how important your parents are and your environment is to growing a person or them feeling like they could be great, right? So just FYI, if you have not heard me say this before, I love podcasting, okay? I love doing it and I love listening to it, okay? I literally have a rotation of podcasts that I listen to every day that kind of keep me busy. So whether I'm at work or commuting or what have you, I just love podcasting. So one of my favorite podcasts is the Joe Budden podcast. And so now, Joe Budden is a type of individual where I do not agree with a lot of things that he does or say, right? However, I can appreciate his ability to create a great podcast show. He's a great producer. He's cultivated a great team of individuals to really bounce off of his personality and create a great show. So Isha Ice, two of his co-hosts on the show, made a great point about how, just the schooling starting from a young age can set your mind up for you to be great. So check this clip out.
My daughter's 3. She starts preschool in September. So I'm looking at what schools to put her in and stuff. When I looked at this Montessori school, first conversation with the school, walked out of there like, yo, they fucking nuts. We're doing an open house and, they explaining everything to us. And she's like, the child learns what they want to learn. Whatever stimulates that child. I'm so programmed because I'm sitting here thinking, this ain't preparing you for the real world. In the real world, you can't just come and go and do as you please. How much it cost? This one was $27 a year.
That's not bad.
For preschool. That's not bad for preschool.
You're thinking about You. Everybody don't make what you make, Joe. The Montessori school, their standards are not for regular people.
They're not.
We're not gearing you up to be a worker in a factory.
Nope.
We're gearing you up to be the leader of the factory and be above them from
See,
early.
From early, you getting
Yeah,
trained.
I
You
don't know
get
about
no. He's
definitely
right.
right,
He's
Joe. What do you mean?
He's right. The way they teaching kids now is to get you on a hamster wheel. This school,
I'm going to be the person
You don't- that hamster-
programming
you
the
don't-
wheel.
As you can see from that clip, like, how do you think your schooling prepared you for life? Think about that. Like, what was the most important thing that was taught to you in school that you've taken with you throughout life? If you think about it, you may have some, anecdotes that a teacher may have instilled in you here and there where you had, okay, in the third grade, Miss Johnson, she was great. For me, I had this one teacher and she had to have been somewhat, closer to our age, had to have been about 21, 22, because there was no reason for her to talk to us the way she was talking to us. But she was kind of considered a homegirl, but she was our teacher. And she said to us one day, she was like, y'all, now she may have been going through this in her personal life, but she was like, y'all, don't ever tell a woman about your man. She was like, I don't care if it was your best friend of 100 years. Do not tell another woman about your man because, he can like his, sandwiches with the crust cut off, right? And then one day, he's sick and you show up to his house and he got a gift basket with sandwiches with crust cut off. And you end up trying to figure out, well, how did you know about that? Well, your friend knows about it too because he told her about it. So just little stuff like that. She was like, because people will use it against you and so on and so forth. So, like I said, that's a crazy story to tell, sixth graders. But but the point of the story is that you do have teachers who have instilled certain things within you that you take with you throughout your life. Just little nuggets of gems. But what Ice and Ish were saying was that, in this particular school, they were preparing people to think outside of the box. Now, I'm not an advocate for public versus Montessori versus charter, but I do see the value in each individual one, right? Because while public school may not be as, streamlined or, preparing students with the best books and the best teachers and the best this, they are a great indication of the world. So, it allows you to kind of gain insight as to how to deal with people of different cultures and things like that. But what a Montessori or a charter school can do is maybe streamline the education a little bit more. And what Ice and Ish were saying was that this particular school was preparing students to think outside of the box. It wasn't preparing students to be, within the lines. They were preparing students to know how to color outside of the lines, because you have people who live in structures and then you have people who build the structures, right? So if you think about it, when was the last time that you were, put into a system or learned something that kind of expanded your mindset to think outside of the average person? And, schools have a tremendous, I say, obligation to prepare students, because a lot of times, think about it. Where do you spend most of your time when you're younger? You spend a lot of time at school. So this is the place that really is developing you. And if you don't choose, a particular school that, has great teachers or great books or great things like that, or even just a great environment to learn from and have different activities like after school programs and drama club and, band and things like that, you're missing out on becoming well-rounded. So, and then it doesn't just stop at primary school. If you're talking about going to college, a lot of people, depending on where they live, they have to make decisions based on money. They have to make decisions based on, location, whatever, family. But I would highly suggest, if you have a choice, to choose a school that, has a great program that you're looking for. Research different topics and different careers that you want to get into and figure out what school will help suit you in those things. It's not just about, I want to go to a school that's turned, that's lit, that has parties and things like that. I mean, I like a good turn up. Don't get it twisted now, okay? However, and at that time at, 18, 19, 21, you want to, spread your wings and try out different things and meet new people. However, when you get past that point of the turn up, you have to kind of consider, okay, am I prepared to leave this place? Am I prepared to go out into the real world and start making money? And if the answer is no, and all you learned to do was how to mix a good, cocktail or a good rum punch, you know what I'm saying? Then you kind of did yourself a disservice, right? If you really want to be a boss, if you really want to be a leader, you thinking in the mindset of the worker ant, it's not going to get you there. You thinking in the mindset of entry level and things like that, that's not going to help you out. You have to be cultivated and prepared to set up systems, set up business, set up structures, so that you could become successful later on and people could trust you with large budgets. You know what I'm saying? It's the difference between being a supervisor at McDonald's, no shade to them, than you being a vice president of operations for a Fortune 500 company. That's a completely different conversation because your budget is a lot larger, okay? But in that mindset, you have to be comfortable and prepared and competent enough to, manipulate those budgets, manipulate those structures, but you already got the baseline when you were in school. Social circles play a large part. I know for me, I strive to be great because it was just always instilled in me by my parents and, to be great. But I also wanted to be great because my friends wanted to be great. Think about your friend groups. Who in your circle was, an inspiration to you without them even knowing? In college, I had a circle of friends who we were all pre-med, pre-nursing, pre-psychology, pre-law, all these things. And so while we had a good time, we had a great time, we also understood that, okay, we're getting into our sophomore year. Let's start to get serious now. Let's start to handle business and get these internships and get these grades because we understood that, there's life after college. So that was important for me to have a social circle that kept me accountable for doing the right thing. So, make sure that your group is making you great as well. Bringing this into our next topic, there is one person who was always, put in the same category as the word greatness. And that was Kobe Bryant. And I saw this clip that really kind of inspired me, put that battery in my back to have a similar mentality, as Kobe Bryant did, because he was awesome. He was one of the greatest of all time. And everybody who ever talked about him had the same, experience with him when it came to how he thought. So check this clip out and we'll talk about it.
I asked him one time, Matt, I said, man, why are you such an asshole? I asked him that. And he said, you really want to know? Mm-hmm. You know how he was. Mm-hmm. And he said to me, he said, Phil, man, some of my teammates don't understand the work. He said, so I see dudes walk into practice 10 minutes before practice and they leave right after. Why the fuck am I going to pass them the basketball? I don't respect their work ethic. I'm in here busting my ass every day trying to perfect my craft, and these dudes don't want to work on their game. I don't trust them. So I'm not going to pass them the basketball. I'm going to ride them hard every day. Made perfect sense when he really broke it down as to why he is the way he is with certain dudes. I was just like, man, I respect that, bro.
Kobe was not playing with y'all, okay? Kobe Bryant, he understood the assignment. He understood that, if I want to be in the rafters like, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and all these greats, I have to be different. But I think that Kobe possessed a mentality that was extremely different than the rest, that he understood to be a student of the game, to respect the game, and to put in the effort to be great. While everybody else was partying, popping bottles, and living life, Kobe was in the gym. Kobe was literally creating opponents in his mind to battle against while he was practicing. Like Kobe was different. He showed up hours before the game, he showed up hours before practice, and he stayed hours after. And that's just been the reoccurring story about Kobe Bryant. And I can do nothing but respect that. Like, honestly. Now, some people could consider that unhealthy, depending on how far he took it, right? But I think that for him, losing was a part of the game, but it wasn't his story. And that Mamba mentality can be taken in different aspects of your life, I feel. So whether you are in corporate, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be, you're working in advertisement, you're public relations, whatever the case may be. I'm not saying that you have to, forget all things and make everything this. What I'm saying is that I think it's Malcolm Gladwell or Malcolm Caldwell basically said that you have to put 10,000 hours into something in order for you to be considered an expert at it, right? So if you're putting hours and hours into your craft, it literally shows. Like whether you are a singer, songwriter, if you're just doing it here and there every now and then your product will literally show that you only do it every now and then. You might be good at it, you might be straight, but you may not be excellent. You know what I'm saying? So putting in the hours, studying the material, the craft, how to get better, how to create a story, how to, punch numbers, how to predict, an outcome and work towards it. Like all those things happen in the Mamba mentality. And Kobe was an advocate of that. I'm an advocate of it because I think that a lot of times social media nowadays makes everything seem so easy, right? You could be popping bottles on a yacht just out of nowhere, thousands of dollars out of nowhere. If you look on somebody's page and that's their life every day, obviously they're doing something to get that money to have to be able to do that. But if you work in your 9 to 5 and you just thinking, well, I could be popping bottles like that too. No, you can't. No, you can't. Not without, cultivating something that creates, an income for you to be able to do that. Whether you are Tyler Perry, whether you are the CEO or founder of Apple or Amazon, whatever the case may be, those people put hours in to develop that business. They took losses. They took wins and they took more losses. Then they took wins and they took more losses. So those are the things that help develop you and make you great. It's not just just trying something and it works. Yeah, you may have those, one-time incidences of somebody just getting famous off of one clip on YouTube. That's short term. That's short-lived. In order for them to keep that, they would have to really develop something, a product or whatever, a business, and really, develop that business in order for them to stay great. You can't just pop one time and then that just be it and then you're done. No, you have to build a structure and a system and content and product and a skill set in order for you to stay that way. Kim Kardashian's another example. People who say, oh, she just got rich off of a adult film and then that's it. No, that woman took that adult film, yeah, but she also turned it into a business. Her mother and her family turned it into businesses, multiple businesses. It was just, yes, that was a catapult, but that wasn't the end all be all. You can't remain hundreds and hundreds of $million famous just off of one thing. No, you have to build a system and a structure to keep it. That's just how it works. That sounds exhausting. I'm not going to hold you. Being great is not easy. This shit is exhausting, okay? So I would suggest that you find something that you love to do, and then that way half the battle is already won, right? Like, if you're trying to be great and do something that you don't enjoy, then how likely are you actually going to be great at it? How likely are you actually going to keep doing it for years to come? The answer is no. So I would say find something that you love to do and really kind of map out like how you can create a life for yourself. Map out how you can do great things, be a boss, be a leader, and become great at the actual skill. So because nobody will be able to take that from you. You know what I'm saying? When they see what you're doing, they see the hours and the time that you put into your craft, you'll be rewarded. It'll come. But you have to put that work in, because if not, any small victories will just be small and temporary. They won't be long term because you hadn't put in that time. So now we're going to get into our watch list of the week. So for this week's watch list of the week, it's been so many movies that have come out, but I just recently was bored one day and decided to turn on Hulu, and I saw that they had this movie called Flamin' Hot. And when I saw the commercials for it, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, this looks kind of dumb. It looks, it looks kind of dumb, and I wasn't interested. But it's a story about the guy who worked for the Pepsi company, which is the parent company of the people who make Flamin' Hot Cheetos. So in this particular movie, this guy is a young Mexican man who lives in California, who was literally scraping by to provide for his family. He had a love-hate relationship with his parents, but he had a very, very supportive wife who saw the greatness in him and really kind of encouraged him in his dreams. And throughout the movie, you saw, that encouragement, and like, again, how your environment helps you to cultivate your greatness. And he had a great environment with his wife, but his environment also of poverty kind of stimulated him to want more. So with him just being a worker, he decides to come up with this great idea, and it takes off with the company. And he's able to he had decades of greatness within that company. But I want to go back to the initial starting point of, he didn't even have to do that. He could have been complacent and just being a factory worker and doing, just the average day-to-day blue-collar work and having that be his life. He can have retired after 30 years with a mediocre pension and had that been his life. But no, he said, I am great enough to have my ideas taken seriously, and I want to take it to the boss and make something great out of it. You having the greatness within yourself to think of yourself worthy is a lot of times all you need to take that first step. It's a mind thing. All they can do is tell you no. All they can do is tell you no. And then he received a no a couple of times, throughout this film, but he kept going and he made it work. So, kudos to that guy. That movie was extremely funny. Unfortunately, the little boy in that movie who plays the guy's son, he is so cute, and him in real life, him and his dad were great TikTok and Instagram stars. And unfortunately, his father just passed not too long ago. But his father, and again, come on now, his father, with them being so famous on Instagram and TikTok, probably instilled a lot of greatness within his son. Encouragement to say, hey, you can do this. You can do this video. You're smart. You're funny. And then now he's doing movies. Like, come on. So check that movie out. It's really good. It's really cute. It has the Allstate guy there with the voice. He's in there, and he did a great job in that movie too. And I just love a great, story of the underdog. So check it out. It's called Flamin' Hot, and it is on Hulu. So now we're going to get into our tune of the week. So our tune of the week this week is by an artist by the name of Fabo. He is an artist, I believe, out of Atlanta, and he just dropped a song on his latest EP. The song is called Love Songs Unruly. And man, when I tell you, this song has been on repeat since last week, over and over again. It's given very 2000 R&B, and he talking big talk on there too. You know, if you want to be late night with your bae and everything, I think that would be a good addition to the playlist, you know, for a little adult time, or, you know, just a cruise on date night and things like that. So check that out on all DSPs. It is Unruly by Fabo. Anyways, that brings us to the end of our episode. I had an idea that I'm going to start to bring in some guests. I just would like to talk to some of, you know, my peers, some people who, you know, have really interesting careers, who can give a great perspective on some of the topics that we like to talk about here on Pretty Suited. So I look forward to setting up those interviews. You know, be prepared, be on the lookout for them. Let me know who you would like to see, or what kind of careers you would like to, you know, see talked about. And I'll see if I can get those kind of guests. So just engage, like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, and follow us on the AMP app for my AMP radio show. Because I look forward to, you know, talking with y'all and playing some jams too. So, yeah, I look forward to talking to you guys again and soon. And like always, have a blessed week, and I will see you soon. Bye.